This is the next episode of Saving Vicki. I've kind of upgraded the wheels a little bit, put some better wheels on it, didn't wobble so much. I did find a blade adapter. This is the one that was on there, and you can see the difference. This one is much deeper, and so it takes the blade down and puts it closer to the edge of the deck. It's just inside the deck, and so that should be okay. It'll be safe. It's not below the deck. That's the main thing. But if you get it high up like it was with this adapter, then it's not going to hardly touch the grass. So hopefully that'll work out okay. And I put a file on the cutting edge of the blade a little bit, checked it for balance, and it appears to be balanced. So the next thing we have, oh, by the way to get this adapter off is I used a puller that you could get, at Harbor Freight, places like that. And with the blade off, you put it around the back side of the adapter. Sometimes these things are so rock solid on there that they're not going to come off. But this one came off. It took some work, but I got it off, and had to use my breaker bar to get enough torque on it to finally get it to move. And so now we have a deep enough adapter on there. So let me set this camera down and we'll go into the next phase, which is to install the rewinder. And it says looking into the sun, so let me come on this side. I think that may be a little better. Get that on the, focus that on the table. So let me clean some of this stuff out that I used to get the blade adapter on, and we'll set this. I'm going to set this mower down on the table, flat. Just bear with me there. I've got to move some of this stuff out of the way. Some of it's pretty heavy. Old Folgers cans full of blade bolts. I'll get that on. Get my toolbox off this handle. All right. Make sure we can see what we're doing here. That's not the greatest. There we go. All right. Now this is the sort of the classic type of Briggs with the air vane. That's the governor system, is the speed of this flywheel. So when the flywheel, if you hit some thick grass, this air vane is going to come back and give you more fuel to bump it back up. So that's how that works. Let me go ahead and see if I can get this little tiny spring off of here, and I'll save that. I'm not going to use it on this one because the thing this attaches to is sheared off. I call this a paper clip end. I think I got it. Nope. These things are so delicate that they're real easy to bend. I've got it. Got that little pin off. Let's see if I can get that out of there. It's hard to do with these gloves on. Nope, that's not working. Let me take these gloves off and maybe I can use some these little needle nose pliers to get this thing to come loose. Yeah, that end is broken off. Okay, so now maybe push it back through. Is that going to work? Nope. There we go. Okay. So here's that little delicate little spring. That end is broken off. I may be able to salvage that and make something out of it, but pretty much destroyed. So let me reinsert this back where it belongs. And that's the short end goes there. There's the long end. The short end goes in that little hole. And I want to look at this coil. But I think it's dragging too much. I don't think the air gap is right. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You see that? There's really no gap there at all. So I'm gonna redo the air gap on this coil. And to do that, I'm going to get my gloves back in, and I'm going to use a 1/4-inch socket because this long screw here that holds the air vane on, the plastic thing, also holds the other screw that holds the coil on. And this is coated with dirt, so I'm going to hit the other one with a wire brush, okay? And now, 1/4-inch socket. And I'm just going to loosen this a little, and loosen the other one a little, and put some strips of a milk jug that I've cut, and that'll set the air gap. Let me get those. There's one, and here's two, one I did the other day. Okay, so this, I do hundreds of these, so trust me, these work. This is a milk jug that I've cut plastic strips out of. And I'm going to move the coil out of the way and put it where it touches that magnet. And then move the coil out, put the plastic in under there. Now we're going to do that on this side. The thing is strong. So let me show you what I'm doing here. All right, so I've loosened this. I haven't taken it out, and I've loosened that one. And so now I can move this coil around and get these little milk jug strips under there, and that'll set the correct air gap. I'm going to push on a little with my thumb, make sure it's flush. And now I'm going to tighten these right back where they were. I'm not going to tighten that one fully. I'm going to get it where it's going in. Now I'm going to do this one a little bit. I'm going to try to push on it with my thumb. Make sure it's flush up against that wheel with the little strips between it. And now I'll pull these out. There's 1 and 2. And now I think now I can see that little gap. All right, so I think I've set the air gap a little better. Now this kill switch here, I need to address that because I don't want it flopping around and then shutting the mower off when I don't want it to. So let me go get my rubber band. Here we go. So I'm going to bring that around here. Let me get that. Let's see if I can get this spring out because it's sort of in the way. It'll come out real easily. Let me get my needle nose pliers and see if I can yank it out of there. Got that spring off there. And then there's the kill switch. Is it touching? Not really, so I'm going to bend it up just a little bit. Just a little. Move this way, and now I'm going to try and bend this up some. Okay, let's see what happens. No, that didn't change much. Let me try it again. And it's actually maybe a little too much, so I'll bump it down. Okay, it's touching now. This is just a temporary way to keep this from touching the engine brake and the kill switch. I'm going to get a piece of starter rope. Here's a little piece of starter rope. Put that through that hole there. And now to shut it off, I would just pull it that way. Hopefully that rubber band will stay in place. Now I've had to, this mower did not come with a rewinder, so I had to find one. And I've got this one. It's a Murray 3.5 Classic. It should work on this because this got this big opening, and that's for the air vane arm to come out. Let me see if I can get this back on here. Now this is not going to sit down because it doesn't have the spring on it, so I've got to move this out of the way for that brake to go under, and then this will go down. There we go. That brake is under there now instead of being out and stopping it from going on. Okay, so now we got to find our 3 3/8 screws, and then we're going to put this little arm on here, which is a spacer between the tank and the engine body. So let me get that going. I've lost the little spacer that goes in there. I'll have to go find that. It's laying over here on the table somewhere. But let me get this started. Get this 3/8 screw started. This is new pull rope I put on that. All right, where are you? I need. There we go. All right, so you gotta have this little spacer on there. If you don't, and you tighten that tank up without it, it'll break the top of the tank off, and then you've ruined it, and you gotta go buy you a new tank for $25 or $30. Clean the debris off of that. This spacer fits right in the end of that. You don't actually have to have this arm on here, but you definitely need this spacer, and that kind of holds that spacer in place. All right, so now got that one on. I need 2 more 3/8 screws. 1, 2. There's one in the front. Well, let me show you this. I see this all the time where people screw this up. So before you cinch this down, this is cutting that spark plug wire, and that little nub right there is a space where that goes, and that keeps it from cutting. So let me show you. I'm going to slide this over there, right there. Okay, so that's the correct place for the spark plug wire, so it won't get cut. Let me lay this back down. Okay. Get this other screw in here. Get it started. Make sure that's engaging. Is that engaging? Yes. Okay. That gets one on the opposite side. Hopefully it's in the right position, and it is. There's a little metal arm, and you want that to be under the rewinder, not on the outside. And luckily it's under. About 50-50 on these. They'll come over and it'll be in the wrong place, and gotta lift the rewinder up and start over. All right, so let me start cinching these down. These are 3/8. I'll use my drill. There's one. I'm not gonna get it tight just yet. Keep that one snug. That one's snug. My spark plug wire is still loose. Good. Now this third one over here, I want to tighten it while I've got this spacer in the correct position, and that'll help me hold that there until I get the tank to go up there. So that's pretty good. It's not in the ideal position. I'm going to loosen it a little bit. Okay, now it's on there. Let me try again here. Try to get the perfect spot. Tank we've been working on. Let me get that cord out of the way. And so we're gonna get this tank on here. And I've got to come in at an angle and then under. On the L. Now you've got to connect this grommet here to the crankcase ventilation tube. And now I can start ooching this thing on the manifold. So I'm going to ooch, 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 ooch. Okay. So I see the screw hole here for the 3/8. Show you what I'm talking about here. I see the screw hole for the 3/8, so that means the tank is in a real good position. And then That's the 1/2 inch screw that's going to go in. So I'm going to hold this camera and try and get this thing started. I need a 3/8. You can't, all right, I'm going to set it down. Hang on. 3/8 head. 3/8 inch screw and 1/4 inch. That's not exactly right. Let me see. Keep looking. This will probably do this. It's not one that came off of Briggs, but I think it's going to be the right threads. Yeah, I think so. I just want to get this one started because I want to get that 1/2 inch one started as well. So here's the screw that attaches the tank to 1/2 inch head. You have to move this little arm around to get it in the right position. And I'm trying to get it where I feel like it's going in there. There, I think it's going in. All right, so now I'm going to get a 1/2 inch socket. Let's see if I can get this thing at least started. Okay, so that's started. And come back around here. I think this is actually a 7/16 head, but I didn't have a 3/8 handy. Let's see if I'm right about that. Yep, it's a 7/16. So I'm going to go ahead and cinch it up. It's going to be tight. That one's in good shape. Last it up a bit on the 1/2. All right, so now my tank is firmly on there, and I want to show you this, because it's not going to run right unless I do this. Okay, that all looks like it's set up well. There's your governor spring, but this is in the wrong position. Okay, so it's not going to run unless there's some spring tension on this. So you want to swing this over this way. And now this thing is designed to be bendable. So let me get, this might work here, because I want to put this in a sort of a permanent position. Now somebody's bent this down, this for appearance's sake, it's supposed to be up there. And now this piece here, I'm going to go down with that. And that way it's sort of locked in position. And this mower is gonna, see, it's really not gonna change the RPMs. So that's set. I'm gonna leave it that way. Okay, and now, let me check this. There's a pretty good bit of tension on there. Based on experience, it's too much. So I'm gonna lift this guy up just a little, get it more in line with that. I'm gonna go this way with her. Let's see if I can put that on camera. There we go. So I'll move that a little. Now I'm looking for just where it just slightly moves. That's about right for these old 3.3. Just kind of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. That's about right. All right, we're going on about 24 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and say bye for now, and I'm going to come back and we're going to pull the cord on this mower. Stay tuned, people. We're going to see if Vicky's going to run.